Hello, I'm Chimari Allen, and I'm here to tell you about slavery, civil rights, and what's happening in this world today. A long, long time ago, there was slavery. In Africa, slaves were captured and brought to America. Before, the enslaved Africans walked to the slave castle, they washed in the river, and were forced to walk all the way to the castle in loincloths, or maybe pants. When they walked to the slave castle, they had chains around their necks. Elmina Castle is where the slaves had to stay for months, or maybe years, who knows? The castle did not have lots of windows for fresh air, and slaves were not given lots of food or water because the people that were taking them to America wanted them to be weak. Many slaves died from disease, and some even ended their lives. When the slaves were brought to America, they went on a slave ship and were packed close together. They also had to lay down because there were so many of them in such a small place. I bet that wasn't too comfortable. Once the slaves reached America, they were sold and sent to work on plantations. Some slaves also worked on cotton plantations. I bet when they came home, their feet and hands were sore. Slave masters treated the slaves very badly. The masters hit the slaves with whips. Slaves were not given much food or clothes. They were not able to go to school to learn to read or to write. Some people don't realize that slavery was the law. Here is a newspaper ad from Thomas Jefferson looking for his runaway slave. He even offered a reward for him. Luckily, Abraham Lincoln came along and changed the law by setting the slaves free during the Civil War. He first freed the slaves so the slaves could not pick cotton. If the slaves did not pick cotton, then the masters couldn't earn a living or buy weapons to fight against the North. Also, the Southern slaves would add to the Northern army. What a great military strategy. This is Abraham Lincoln's proclamation to set the slaves free, but he only set the slaves free in the southern part of the United States. The bad thing about slavery ending was that African Americans were still not treated fairly. We couldn't choose our own seeds or drink out of the same water fountains as Caucasians. Also, black children and white children could not go to the same schools. But then a boy named Martin Luther King Jr. came to this world. Martin made speeches about blacks being treated equally. He made a famous speech called "I Have a Dream." His dream was for everybody to live together and solve their problems by talking and not using violence. There was also Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks did not like the way that blacks were being treated. So one day she decided to sit in the front of the bus. The bus driver told her to move, but she did not move one single bit. Then she was taken to jail and people protested peacefully. The laws were changed, and we will always remember Miss Parks and Dr. King for making history. Because of Rosa Parks and Dr. King, I am treated fairly. Today, I can go to school and play with anyone I please, including Caucasian kids. part that I choose. At school, most of my teachers are Caucasians, and they love me. They make me feel like the best student in the world. My teachers teach me how to think out of the box and have very high expectations for me. They don't care about my skin color. They just love me for who I am. While I know the world is still not perfect, we are getting there. If we continue to work together, the world will be a better place. This is Chimari Allen signing off. And I've talked about slavery, civil rights, and what's happening in the world today. I hope you enjoyed and learned from my virtual movie.